All right, here we go. What's going on, guys? It is the live stream of March 8th, right? Is that what it is? Today's Sunday, March 8th. I want to welcome everybody for coming on out. We've got a lot to talk about on the agenda today. If you're watching on the archive or back on YouTube, appreciate it. Leave a like because we got a big week ahead of us. Huge week, folks. We have a couple viewers trickling in here. We got Dex Zeth. We got Goji Boy. What's going on? What's on agenda today? We got a couple things. So this is the big weekend. So a week from today, it's Capcom Cup. So there's going to be a bunch of things. I think Thursday is when they're going to start doing the reveals, possibly Wednesday night for the reveals for Capcom Cup. If you're not familiar with what the hell Capcom Cup is and why that's important to us, I will go over that. What's going on, 98 Duke? What's going on, Toy Slice? Yeah, it's a big week for Storm Collectibles, Storm Arena. It's one of their big events that they go to, so that's what Capcom Cup is all about. Goku Black, what's going on? And then we are going to talk a little bit about the Jada toys. I don't even know if they're leaks. We're going to talk about that situation, what happened over there on, I can't even remember the name of the website, but we're going to talk about that. And what was potentially shown on there. And then we are going to finalize it off with time to say goodbye to Storm Collectibles. Is it? Is it time? What do we want to start with, though? What's up, Richie in chat? Yo, Shinakuma, what's going on? Damien Talks Toys, #1 crown. How about that, huh? Can only see that in the chat. Can't see it on the actual leader, but where should we start? I think because I already have the images up for Jada, we'll just start with Jada, and then we'll move into Storm, because Storm is going to take, again, I wish it wasn't always the case, but for a majority of the time, Storm takes up a majority of the stream just because they're the ones that constantly have new stuff coming out. I wish Jada would get a marketing department, or a marketing department that cared. Because they are not doing the best job this year, but we can talk about that. Let's talk about, first of all, what the hell is this website called again? I forget what it's called. So, man, what is it called? It's called Dude something, Dude Bro. Snow Blackheart, what's going on, man? What is this called? I gotta go take a look at the website. So, we did a video on this, a lot of things. I mean, it's a lot of information, but at the same time, it's not. The one thing that kind of gets me is this Game Over headset, right? Or the game pack or accessory pack. Because, first of all, it doesn't even say Game Over faces, right? It just says accessory pack. They just happen to put the Game Over faces. I don't know if they were told to put that or what, but it doesn't even really verify that it is Game Over faces. So, it just says accessory pack. So let's do that. That might be better. I lost any care about Jada. Well, we're talking about him. So you can take a nap during this segment if you want. We got to still cover him. We need him. We need Jada at the end of the day, guys. I get that a lot of people want to abandon ship. A lot of people are losing interest. I get it. It's not like they're doing themselves any favors by staying silent until San Diego Comic-Con, but, you know, it is the nature of the beast, and without them, I don't know that Storm Arena pushes as hard as they do now, so we need them. Akuma Arena not selling out. The Sandal Power is strong with Jada. I mean, Seawolf, again, that was their main drop, right? None of the main drops sold out immediately. That's their main, that's their bulk stock. So, I mean, you're looking at these, I mean, you're comparing it to something that's selling out from Storm that has 500 units. When they drop those exclusives, there's only 500 figures. So those sell out instantly, where this order for the Akuma is probably like 10,000 pieces. I don't know if it's 10,000, but maybe 5,000 pieces. I mean, it will sell out, but it's not going to sell out within the first week or anything like that. It'll take a couple of months, just like the rest of them did. I mean, Ken and Ryu didn't sell out anyways either. They didn't sell out their first couple of months either. I mean, they just barely sold out. What was it? Early this year. They've been out for months. I mean, I'm not saying they sell out instantly, at least not their main roster guys. They just sell out over time, and then once they do, then it gets expensive. I don't think anybody really gives a shit about the sandals. But if you'd like to think that's the narrative, Seawolf, you have the right to feel that way. We'll let you feel that way, because frankly, I don't think anybody cares about the sandals. But, you know, it is what it is. Bro Depot, that's what it is. So, Bro Depot, so they put this up, right? Are you thinking from that Storm bottle that Mars got? Oh, am I drinking from? No, I didn't get him. I wish I was. That's a cool ass bottle, is it not? You wish you were drinking from the Storm Collectibles bottle. You wish, but you're not. No. I mean, you know they're going to sell out, Seawolf. They are. You know they are. All of them will sell out again. It'll just take time. I only have Storm Arena Street Fighter for now, but I do like the look of Jada stuff and won't rule out getting some down the line. I mean, they're super cheap. So, I mean, if you ever want to dabble in, that's the nice thing about Jada is, again, it's for a different collector, right? It's more for the mass, the casual collector. They're always available. They're reasonably priced, even though you could argue that unless you're buying aftermarket sold out product, that Storm Arena is in the same price group as them. But it's just different, right? Different business model, I guess you could say. But the one thing, this Bro Depot, I don't know. I don't want to harp on them too bad, because a lot of people just took a lot of this too much for being like actual fact. I don't think, a lot of people were like, Richie, of course it's not coming out in December. That's just like, I forget they used the term. I didn't know the actual term. A placeholder date. I knew they weren't going to come out. I knew T-Hawk wasn't coming out December 31st on the last day of the year. It's a placeholder date, so if it, whenever it comes out, they just adjust the date. I get that. I know that. I even said that in the video, but of course people just like to comment before they watch the whole video where I address usually 95% of the things that they complain about, but that's okay. My purple Ryu has crazy color mismatch on his chest. Quit looking at his chest so much. How about that? I don't know. I don't know what to do about I mean, it doesn't stop. That's the funny thing, right, though? The QC issues with Storm is it's not stopping anybody from buying them. Those shit still sell out instantly. So it's like, I don't know. Buyer beware. They don't have customer service, and I don't know what to do about that. I wrote about it on the Facebook post, and it didn't do anything. Probably has paint chipping into your water. Yeah. But I don't know. I wanted to talk to people about the game over faces because they had the price listed on here for 57 and some change. I mean, how many figures are out right now? We got Ryu, Guile. And the thing is, do you put out a game over face without even having all the figures released? I feel like you would have to release all the figures first, right? Wouldn't make a lot of sense to just do one pack and then of half the figures and then another pack later, right? Stoned, what's going on, man? Probably has paint shipping in your... Oh, I get that now. That's funny, Damien. You're a funny guy. You're in the wrong business. Maybe you should go start a stand-up world tour. Even my dad prefers the Storm figures. He even said that Jada figures look goofy. My word, not his. I don't think they look goofy. They're just different stylistically. 1, it's a different game. 2, it's different plastics. 3, different business model. They're appealing to a different type of collector than Storm Collectibles is. It's different. I think that Jada Toys goes perfect with a Marvel Legends collector. It's the same type of plastic. It's the same type of style. Yeah, I think they go perfect with, Marvel Legends collectors. His word, not mine. Does the Storm Arena water bottle have any QC issues? Yes, the paint chips off into the water, unfortunately. I buy through an online store here in the UK. If I get QC issues, I can return, but no problem so far. Well, that's good. We don't really have that luxury over here in the United States, so be thankful. The game over faces are interesting because there's also different ones with updated sprites in the later versions of Street Fighter 2. You think they'll include the Warrior versions as well as the new challengers? I don't think so. I think I don't know, because for the price, there's no way it's just the heads, right? It could be just the heads. And again, how do you release a game over head pack if you haven't released all the characters? Because are you just going to release... How many characters are you going to give game over faces? Is this the first wait? Is this like the first half of characters and then you're going to release the second half later? Or how's that going to work? That's what I'd like to know. So it just doesn't seem like it's well thought out yet if they're doing game over faces, because not all the figures are out yet. So how do you give game over faces for the characters that aren't out yet? Someone said Storm has more soul than Jada. Shit made me laugh. They do have more soul. It's more spiritual. Jada has no soul. They've lost it somewhere along the way. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what the hell that means. They have more soul. Maybe they have more effort right now, I guess. Is that another word for soul? I don't know. I prefer Storm for anime designs, but Jada is good for more cartoon and vibrant ones. And that's fair. Your dad don't know ball. My dad knows ball. I tell him you said sucks. Did anyone hear the custom chat going around the Jada Cyber Akuma? I saw it, but I don't know. I don't know the reference, nor do I think Jada's going to make it immediately. Although June had been mentioned about the Cyber Akuma before, and he seemed interested, so maybe that's a one-off. I don't know. And again, there's something else that doesn't make sense about this Jada Toys Akuma thing. There's no way they dropped that this year. They've never done it. It would be a Jada Toys first if they dropped a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from a character they released, let alone the same year, but like 2 or 3 months ahead of time. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I just don't think that Akuma is coming for San Diego Comic-Con. It just, to me, again, I stand with my predictions that it is going to be Vega with a fence and another Sagat. That's what I think it's going to be. I'm guessing the game over head sculpts assume you already have the figures, similar to how SDCC versions include extra pieces for the default figures. Yeah, but we don't have all the characters yet. So what about T-Hawk and Zangief? Are they not going to get their game over head sculpts? I doubt they already have a game over head sculpt for Akuma and E Honda. What about those guys? And Balrog. So how do you do that? What about the other characters? Happy Sunday, folks. Imperious Rex collects. I thought I heard a roar. Get it? Rex? Roar? That's funny on a Sunday. Come on, that was a Sunday funny, folks. No one appreciated it. Damn it. Come on. All right, Jada is scared to do Zangief because Storm has done 6 of them. Maybe Storm doesn't want to give Jada the Zangief curse. Zangief is a popular character. It's like having the DC license and not doing Joker. Or, I don't know. Zangief is not really on the same level as Joker. But you know what I mean. He's a popular character. He's in a movie. He's in Wreck-It Ralph. People love him in that. That Cyber Akuma was a clean custom. Factual. Damn. They done 6 Zangiefs. They got him on lock. I mean, I don't hear you saying anything about M. Bison. They've probably done just as many M. Bisons as they have Zangiefs. Which, we'll talk about that later. I think Jada Balrog will move better than arenas. Well, I never said that Storm arenas were more articulated. I do think they're still top tier articulation. I don't think they're ultimately probably as good as Jada's. I think with Storm, you tend to be a little bit more hesitant because it feels a little bit more delicate. With a Jada, you know it's like Marvel Legends plastic. You can bend that shit all over. But it's just different. I feel like I don't even want to sneeze on some of my Storm figures. I'm like, don't break it. I'm with Richie when he says nobody really cares about the beat up faces. It's not that I don't think they don't care. I think it would be appreciated. But I feel like more people would just keep it in the box as like a cool collector's piece. Outside of like figure photographers and maybe if you have like a badass diorama. I am pretty, I'm one to like update my shelves pretty regularly with like different head sculpts and stuff. So, I mean, for me, I would use them, but I just don't know, the desire. It's not that I don't think people don't care. It's just, I don't know, are people going to spend $60 on a game over head sculpt pack? A lot of people will. I just don't know everybody will. I wonder if anyone's going to try to make a custom Kratos with Sagat and Balrog pieces. Balrog's default head sculpt is a good foundation, and Sagat has height and scar. I'm not talented enough for that. Isn't Kratos from God of War? Isn't Todd? Isn't Papa Todd making that? I know he got the PlayStation license, so can't wait for your Netflix comedy special. I know we're all waiting on Damien's. Oh, you're talking about me with the Imperious Rex roar. Get it? I should have said footsteps. Damn it. Regardless, Jada and Storm should do a collab. Ha! What would they collab on? They're different. They use different materials. How would they do a collaboration? And you don't collab. That's like saying Pepsi and Coke should do a collaboration. They don't. They're enemies. They're unannounced enemies. It's unspoken rivalry. You're not collabing with the rivalry. What the? It's never been a thing ever. We can't do it, Stoned. This can't just be Stone's little happy place where everything's sunshine and rainbows and everyone just gets along. Sometimes you gotta have. Just forget, Stoned. There is no light without dark. There is no happy without sad. There is no motivation without hard times. I would say, I don't know, Jada's even going through hard times. There's a lack of motivation there for the Street Fighter stuff, and I don't know. Why does the images say sold out? Because I don't even know that they're even in stock. So maybe they're just put that in case people are like, oh, let me go buy that, and it's not even out yet. I don't know. SOR is right up their alley. Sadly, he will. Storm Arena is Storm Collectibles' answer to Jada. Is better, they compete for betterment of our wallets and shelves. Factual. Collabs are just matching sculpts. Collabs is a celebration. What? What, Stone? You think Jada's happy that Storm Collectibles made Storm Arena and they're invaded their turf? You think they want to celebrate that? Hey, thanks for making the same scale of action figures as us and taking and dividing the community. We appreciate that. Let's celebrate that. That's not going to be a thing. Come on, Stone. What kind of world are you living in? Even Marvel and DC has collabed. I mean, that's different comic properties. That's not two sale, you know. I don't know. I mean, sure. We can I don't know. I'm just not booking that anytime soon. I don't know if Marvel and DC can team up. Maybe there's a small chance of Jada Storm team up, but that would mean Storm would have to finish something. That nothing bugs me more than the finish something statement from Storm Collectibles, right? Because first of all, there's not even a company right now that's finished anything. Last time I checked, Jada hasn't finished their roster either. Right? And by the look of things, I don't even know that they're going to finish it this year either. And second of all, are my chats not showing? They're always showing. Wait, what? Meathead, I can see it on the screen, but where are you? I don't know. Yeah, Meathead, I don't know where yours are in the chat. It shows on my screen, but I don't see you in my chat. That's weird. I don't know why that's... Let me take a look at the different chat. Yeah, I don't know what's happening there. I'll have to look at your... I don't know. I haven't banned anybody. And like, wait, maybe I did... Oh, maybe he... No. I know what's happening. Meathead, were you the guy that kept putting look at it? I think you still might be on a timeout if you were the guy that kept putting look at it. Your timeout time carries over if you didn't serve your full sentence. I don't know if Marvel and DC can... Okay, I already read that. They're close to the finish line. Let's hope they don't trip before it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like people are getting a little impatient with the whole finishing the roster. I gotta refresh the chat every time to see new messages? Not me. Could just be a YouTube bug, maybe. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know what to think about this. I mean, this Bro Depot didn't really say anything crazy other than these game over faces. Again, their ad doesn't even say game over faces. It just says accessories with a game over picture. So I'm assuming that's what it is, but I just don't know how Jada's going to perform that because, again, not all the characters are released. So what do you do for the characters, game over faces that aren't released? Do you release that later on down the line? What's going on there? I don't know. I just know the price seems crazy. I still think T-Hawk and Zangief release this year, but I think it's going to be late quarter four. Late quarter four. But that's my guess. Would I be shocked if it spilled over into 2027? I would not. The Spider-Man looks jacked. Did I see SHF Gamer vs. Spider-Man Mr. Lee video? Yeah, it looks terrible. It looks bad. But, let's see. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yeah, the Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. Let's take a look here. So there it is. Look at the legs, bro. The legs look awful. How do you not color in the black lines? It's just not good. Stylistically, it looks pretty cool. And technically, you could probably take a Gundam paint marker, and fill in the lines yourself. But it's like, why? This thing is $80, $90. Why am I paying to put my own lines on? You couldn't do that? They're sculpted in, too. The legs look horrendous, man. I mean, it looks like he's got it looks like he's got the right Spider-Man's legs inside, like, big man boots or something. That's weird articulation, man. I love the head sculpt. I do like the head sculpt a lot. I just think they could have done better with the legs. The legs look insanely weird, and yeah, you gotta paint in those. You gotta paint in those lines, man. I can do it, but I don't want to do it, because what if I mess up on my $90 figure? Then I'm gonna be upset. So that's what's going on there. Okay, I'm muting. Stone, people say Cyclops is bad, but I love him, so yeah. I mean, I know your boy Anthony's Customs hated that figure. Have you thought about reaching out to them? No. I don't have 10,000 subscribers. That would be Mountain Arts Reviews. Mars, people in the chat want to know if your Storm Collectibles water bottle has a paint QC issue where the paint falls off into the water. We must know. Lord knows we care about your safety and health. We would hate for you to be drinking paint chips. Please let us know. Their comments, not mine. Please let us know. Coming soon? What do you mean coming soon? Oh, you reached out to him already? Am I muted? Oh, you're muted. Yeah, the legs are bad. Don't look at the back. Oh, God. Imagine that Legends collectors complain about this crazy world. Wait, what do you mean? Standards are just all over the place. It depends. For the amount of price that you're paying for an SHF, you expect pretty good quality for $80. SHF legs have always that weird look with the thigh cut. I don't know why. It kind of works for the Dragon Ball figures because they have the baggy clothes, but it still baffles me. It does. No, it was crafted by the gods. Huh. I guess they care more about their water bottles than their actual product. That's too shame. Maybe they're in the wrong business. Maybe that Storm should get into the water bottle containment business instead of action figures. Because Lord knows they can paint a good water bottle, but when it comes to their actual product, I guess it's a different story. Anthony Customs is an asshole and complains about anything on an action figure. Your words, not mine. I just read the comment. Yeah, sometimes I do feel like he's too picky, but, it's his channel. He can say whatever he wants. Mars, Goji Boy, Richie Stream, soon. You're going to have to talk to Mars. He's the one that has a hard time going into the live streams. No, our live stream. Can't say too much, though. Goji, you talk to Mars. He's the one that he schedules all the live streams. It's Mars World. I'm just living in it. I muted you because you guys are putting me off something I'm really looking forward to. What are you, the Spider-Man? Hey, you can love it. These opinions are my own. I'm just telling you what I think about it. If you love this stuff, love it. That's not for me. That Spider-Man, I had a couple pre-ordered, but now I think I'm off the bandwagon. $30 for Arena Sagat. I looked at other figures from now on. Wait, what? Yeah, I'm sick of Anthony's nowadays. Yeah, I think sometimes he can be a little too critical, and sometimes he doesn't adjust his critique to what we expect from figures. Like Marvel Legends, if they're still missing on certain things that they've always missed on, I'm like, okay. But there are some things I can miss on, but like, except if it's like QC. Like Storm, I'm always going to give them crap if they're messing up on paint or different colored chests and things like that. I still love you, though. Oh, that's fine. It's overpriced slop. I don't know about slop. It's still a nice looking figure. I just, like I said, the legs look kind of crazy, and they should have painted in the lines. Why sculpt the lines if you're not going to paint them in? That's crazy. Anthony's custom points out minor flaws, but I don't mind it because it can choose to get a figure in spite of that stuff, but it gives me things to think about. I think he's good. His over-criticism, he'll point out things that a lot of people don't cover, so if you really want to know the ins and outs of an action figure, then I think he's a great place to go to. Do I think he's overcritical sometimes? Sure, but, that's just his style, so can't fault a man for that. I hope Storm Arena makes some Kangen Ashura figures. They have Oma as Storm Collectibles, but man, I need some affordable figures. I think they dropped the ball on Gamerverse line. Who did? SHF? We need Nico. Don't know who that is. Who is that? Bro, I need someone to do a comparison of the 3 exclusive Ryu skin color. I've been wanting to buy one for custom body, but I have no idea which one has the tannest skin, best shading, and I don't want to spend $80 for a figure to find out the teal one was better. The teal one, to me, is the darkest one, for sure. The blue-green one is definitely the darkest tone skin, for sure. Anthony has fair criticisms and actually understands why figures are made the way they are, and will take them apart and explain it. Most in-depth reviews I've seen. The Amazing is another favorite. Obligatory Tekken comment. Yes. What you said. Which one has the best shading? The Ryu figures don't really have any shading on the body. The only one I know that has like crazy shading is the Sagat Player 2. There's not like a ton of detail shading on. I would say probably the Player 1 Ryu has the most shading on his gi, but on the bodies themselves, probably the one that has the most shading is the purple one. But you didn't ask which one had the most shading. You said which one was the tannest. Any opinions on the 5-2 Toys Street Fighter? I know Mars covers 5-2 Toys. Is it 5-2 Toys or is it 52 Toys? I think 52 Toys I like to say better than 5-2 Toys. No, I don't have any opinions yet. They're not making any characters I want to see, and I just don't have any opinions on them yet. I don't want to cover them yet either, because I don't know how serious they are. I don't know what their price point is. If their price point isn't around the same price as Jada and Storm, then I don't even want to cover them, because I don't care. If they're outside of the bracket, and they're not in competition, then I'm not going to just start collecting an $80 random 5-2 Toys line, when I already have to do that pretty much with Storm. Ryu does have skin D shading. Wait, what? Player 1 Ken has the best shading. I mean, I'm looking at the figures right now. It's not like I'm pulling this shit out of my ass here. I'm looking at the figures right now. They're right in front of me. Literally within 12 inches of my face. And I don't see that much shading on any of the Geed players. The one that I see has the most shading, 100%, is the Player 2 Sagat. The other ones have minor shading. Minor shading. Ryu and Chun-Li is their first figures. That's why it's like, I'm not excited for another Ryu and Chun-Li, especially Chun-Li. Not even a Captain Commando. I mean, yeah, we'll be excited to see that when it comes out in 2028. We'll all hold our breath for that. It's in grayscale, which means if it's in grayscale, we're probably not seeing that figure till early 2028. But I think we've covered Jada. Nobody's really even talking about them at the moment, so we're going to move on to one other thing here. Hold on. If I must, save as. No, hold on. I got to grab something. That's what she said. That's not what she said. People said, I had someone say, don't say that's what she said. I find it crude and not funny. Damn. That's crazy. I didn't know you guys were that sensitive about minor sexual jokes. I mean, they're minor. I would say they're pretty minor. All right, let's get this out. Download. What? Did I save it in here? I did, right there. All right, let's talk M. Bison. Street Fighter 6. Or do we need to talk about him? Because this kind of brings me into my next segment. We're going to start with Storm. And then we'll end with Capcom Cup. Yo, SD0, what's going on, man? Bro, so snobby? What? If a new $30 Tekken line is made by anyone, they better not just make Hayachike. Okay, I'm not even going to try and say the names. They better not just... And Jin... And then just give up. King and Paul also have plenty of attention. I'm trying to see Steve and Jack love. I mean, there is a company making 6-inch. Isn't SHF making Tekken figures? There's SF6. Their SF6 Akuma looks good, but that's my least favorite Akuma design. Yeah, people don't like his hairstyle in that. We are never going to talk about Final Fight. What do you mean? What about Final Fight? 226 people are sensitive as fuck nowadays. Yep. When the Final Fight pre-orders first go up, we will discuss it. Yeah. Are people into Street Fighter 6, or is there not much of a market? I'm not familiar. I mean, companies are acting like there's a big market for it. I haven't seen a lot of people dying for Street Fighter 6 figures, but I was kidding, by the way. God awful overpriced, even at $15 at Ross. Yikes. $100 plus Tekken figures ain't it, especially with terrible T8 King. Tamashi are basically done with Tekken. Oh boy. I wonder why. It must have been selling so well for them that they're just like, oh, we're done now. But here's the thing. I think Storm Collectibles needs to go. Remind me not to make jokes because Richie reads everything in serious tone. Stoned, I don't know how you guys are saying this stuff. I just read it. I wouldn't say my tone is serious. I just read it. I don't know how to read each comment with a different tone. Come on, man. Kiwando, Sakara, Jada, a T-Hawk. No habla español. Here's the thing. I think Storm is wasting a lot of time, a lot of resources, and a lot of money continuing Storm Collectibles. Why are we still making this? Who's collecting these? I'm sure there are people that are, but it can't be enough that it's profitable where people are like, where Storm is like, oh yeah, let's keep doing this. Because originally, when Storm Collectibles first started, they were supposed to be 1/12. The box even said 1/12, but then people got them, and then they were like, these aren't 1/12. What are these? These are huge. And then they eventually had to end up taking 1/12 off the box. It's like you were supposed to be a 1/12 figure company initially. You messed up on the scaling. And now we still have Storm Collectibles. It's just a waste of time at this point. Yeah, they're like huge. They're like 7-inch figures, pretty much. They're almost like McFarlane size, like 7-inch scale. I just don't know why we're still wasting time on this. That's great looking figure, don't get me wrong. Like that shawl that he's got on is awesome. It's a great sculpt. I just don't know who's collecting it. If you go over to Big Bad Toy Store right now, you can get Luke from the Street Fighter 6 Storm Collectibles for like $56. Why? Because no one's buying this scale anymore. It's over. So I don't know why we're still making new characters. Bringing in new IPs. They just released that Ippo figure. It's like, why didn't you just make that an arena scale? I feel like they're slowly phasing out Collectibles line. They hardly show anything for the line anymore. They released 2 new visuals this week. They showed this guy and that Ippo character. That's 2 in 1 week. They're not stopping anything. And they announced last year at Capcom Cup, they announced the Cody and mustache guy that I can't remember his name, and T-Hawk, and M. Bison. That was 4 characters. A ton. I don't feel like they're stopping anytime soon. I just don't know what we're doing. The silhouette on Big Bad Toy Story for the logo, the 1/12 section of the store, is Storm Collectibles Ryu, and that's what I'm saying. Getting only 1 Street Fighter 6 character a year is ridiculous. What's even the point? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing here with Storm Collectibles? If we're literally getting out 1 character a year, I mean, granted, Ultra Street Fighter is getting 2 this year. They got M. Bison and T-Hawk, but it's like, why? Nobody's collecting those anymore. You pretty much had a funeral for Storm Collectibles as soon as you announced Storm Arena. I like the designs for the lore, but in gameplay and as a figure, I'm always going to be biased towards the classic looks. Factual. I do think this is a cool interpretation of M. Bison. I think it's dope. But it's like, why are we wasting our time on these bigger figures? It's time to move on, man. Kind of shot their collectibles like in the foot with Arena. Everyone just asked for the Arena versions of what... Yeah, exactly. If you go look underneath this picture that they announced on their Instagram, everyone's like, make it an Arena, make it an Arena. It's like, I don't know what we're doing at this point. Let's talk about something more happy now. You sound depressed. I'm fine, Goji. I'm a little tired. The daylight savings just kicked in, so yeah, I'm a little tired. Don't let my unenthusiastic voice. I'm sorry I'm not pippy pip pip for you guys right now. Storm Collectibles can't hurt you. They did hurt me. That T-Hawk video definitely hurt me. I have had the Luke and the Ryu for what feels like years. I know. I'm not tied to a particular scale, but have no interest in these when Storm Arena is such a good value. See, that's what I'm saying. I just don't know what we're doing here at Storm Collectibles. I would think they need to put out a post, heartfelt, on their Instagram that says, it's been quite a journey with Storm Collectibles, but we are discontinuing that scale of figures come 2028. Thank you for all you've done. We've struck gold with Storm Arena. It's time for us to move on and grow. Because scaling up, having different scales of figures does not always work. Look at Marvel Legends. They started making 12-inch Marvel Legend figures, and they went on deep clearance. Deep clearance. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. As Ian Malkin put so delicately in Jurassic Park before the park collapsed. Now, it's a little bit different here because they started out with the bigger scale and went smaller. I just don't think, and again, I will state this, I state this so much, I don't even think Storm really is comprehending the amount of success that they are seeing with their Storm Arena line. Literally, their figures that they're putting out are selling out almost instantly when it comes to their Player 2 variants, and then they sell for buku bucks. And even the figures that are having QC issues are still selling out. It's like, what? People like the figures that much. It's just like, I don't even know that they really anticipated having this level of success where they're like, well, shit, we might just have to end Storm Collectibles. That's the problem here. Who even buys collectibles anymore? Me. When they're out of scale with most figures. Plus, their arena figures somehow have better articulation and similar accessories for an affordable price. It's a good point. It's funny how other companies can continue to charge crazy prices after Storm Arena exposed the market. Yeah, well, it hasn't. I mean, the only way they do that is if people stopped paying the ridiculous prices, and they do not. So therefore, we see no price changes. People like mixing figures. That's kind of the main draw with action figures. We want to put Goku and Iron Man next to each other. What if one is out of scale? It just doesn't fit. There are certain characters that you can put out of scale, though, with other lines. Like Hulk can kind of, no matter how big he is, never seems like he's out of scale. And there are other characters like that. That's the thing about Storm Collectibles. They have no PR person to talk to us like Jada Toys. Well, in all honesty, neither does Jada Toys anymore unless you go to San Diego Comic-Con. It's not like June's making the rounds anymore. Unless you go to Comic-Con, that's the only time you're going to hear from them. And June's information has not even, I mean, most of June's information he gives us is not very accurate. And I hate to say that, but he also said that we were getting very early 2026 the Zangief and T-Hawk pre-orders, and we're expecting to see Alpha 3 later this year, which I don't think either is happening. All his timelines are always way off. And that's fair. I mean, that's what he knows at the time, but it's like, I don't really put a lot of faith anymore in what June says, because most of the stuff he says doesn't come to fruition. He also said the roster was finishing up at the end of 2024, and we weren't even close. So, or maybe it was 25. It was probably 25, and we weren't even close. So it's like, I don't know that I can put a lot of stock into what he says anyways. The Player 1 Ryu and Ken Storm Arena is expensive as fuck. Glad I got both. Yeah, they are getting expensive. Also, mixing stuff up is fun. That's what I like with Jada. For example, DJ's accessory. It works for Guile's flash kick. Yep. I agree. Storm should go all in on Arena. If only June would come out of his action figure cave. June just lies through his teeth. I don't know if he says lies. It's probably fact at the time he announces it, but it just doesn't age well. So does it eventually turn into a lie because things change and we don't know about it? Maybe that's the case. Yeah, like the Hulk and Juggernaut work, but if Wolverine is towering over my Sagat, it's gonna look funny. In that case, just do some comic writer stuff and say Wolverine ate the prime particles or something. The PYM particles? I don't know how to say that. I went back and watched his interviews, and it was comedy. Mind you, I collect the Mega Man and Scooby-Doo stuff, and he lies so much. Can you be more specific on what he lied about? When June makes plans, the company laughs. Whatever, bro. He'll, he'll be like, yeah, should be the case, and then complete opposite happens, and he's got to be the guy to explain why. Not a good position. I say lies. I ain't trying to save his feelings. Okay. That's fair. His words, not mine, Jada. If you're hearing, I'd still love some free samples. Thank you. That's the thing, too, is they are really slow on... where the hell are the other Cyberpunk figures? Hello? Didn't we get those figures the first two almost 2 years ago? Where is the rest of that line? Did we lose that property, or what's going on with Cyberpunk? I'm telling you, June. I'm telling June you said that, Stoned. Uh-oh. I hope June is lying when he says he won't make a Mega Man X line. I don't know. But I did like this M. Bison, so we're talking about M. Bison. This is M. Bison. I think Storm Collectibles just needs to sing their swan song. I think they need to finish out the rest of their last sculpts that they have and say bon voyage to Storm Collectibles, because I can't imagine it's selling super well. Everybody wants everything in arena size. Just quit wasting time, effort, manpower, because we know Storm doesn't have a big operation over there, right? They can't. They don't even have customer service. So it's like they need to just put their full focus, their manpower, their money towards arena, because that's what's the future. Quit living in the past. These had their place in history. It's time to move on to the future, which is arena. Making promises you can't deliver on is poor marketing. Better not to commit. I mean, again, at the time that he's saying it, it probably is fact. But it just doesn't age well, so it could eventually be a lie if it doesn't happen, I guess. But at the time he said it was probably true. And before we move on, I need to ask you guys something, and it's serious, right? I don't get too serious with you guys on the channel very often, but it's serious. And here it goes. How bad do you guys want a Player 2 video on the Ken and Ryus? Because you say you want them, but not a lot of people watch them. So, I need you to be blunt honest with me if you want M. Bison Storm Collectibles video. Because if not, I'm going to open it off screen and just mess around. And 2, Player 2s. And that's the joke. It was not serious. I don't know that I'll ever get super serious on my channel, guys. I'm sorry. I don't really have anything serious to talk about. But do you guys really want the Player 2 videos for each exclusive? Do I really need to bring out a pink Ken, a white Ken, a purple Ryu? Do you guys really care about the, like, comparisons and that stuff? Because it's like, they are really just the same figures. If there was something majorly different, like Sagat had like an entirely different paint job, different effects, things like that, but it's like the white gi Ken and the pink Ken are really just the same figure other than their gis are a different color. That's it. So it's like, I don't know that I need to make that. However, it is content. So maybe on slow weeks I could put those out, but it's like, it's kind of a waste of my time. And yours, ultimately. Even if Storm focused only on arena, we still probably only get like 3 or 4 different Street Fighter figures a year with multiple variants. I mean, gamer, that's more than Jada's doing currently. I know everybody likes to like stick that to just Storm. It's like, oh, yeah, except Storm only puts out like 3 figures a year with a shitload of variants. Except so does Jada. So I don't know why people say that and not think that I'm going to fire back with Jada does the exact same shit. I mean, Storm is moving miles faster at this point than Jada. All right. Invincible is an exciting line. Still, so much potential for it. But I feel like Storm would probably do better with the recolors. They release them like a few months after the original. See, that's what I don't get, is their speed is so much faster. Might we be getting the bloody variants immediately after the original release? You'd think so, Banduin, but then where are the bloody variants of Baki? Why haven't we seen anything besides Street Fighter? Nobody answers this question. Nobody, right? I ask this question every time. Nobody seems to, not even Mars will address it with me. Why have Storm not released anything but Street Fighter since October? Nothing. Where is Darkstalker's pre-order? Where are the King of Fighter figures that were due out Q1? Where's that Baki suited figure, Hanayama guy? Where is the rest of their properties, right? Last time I checked, they had 4 properties. I've only seen 1 property for the last 6 months. Where are the rest of the properties? I keep asking, and nobody ever says, "Oh, that's a good point. What's going on with that?" Nobody. I'll even ask Mars, and he'll be like, they're coming. It's like, are they? Because where are they? Because we got Akuma announced way after we saw the Darkstalker figures, and he's already up for pre-order. They're moving decently, but still about the same so far. We can only pre-order Charlie, Dan, Chun-Li, and Akuma. And Chun-Li and Akuma are not due until later this year, maybe 2027. Again, Gamer C, that depends on who you go through to get your action figures. Because if you're going through a Chinese vendor, then you'll get all of those action figures probably this year. If you're going through Big Bad Toy Store, then you are correct. A lot of those will spill over into 2027. Just kind of depends on who you go through. Where is Final Fight? I don't know. Did they even announce Final Fight? Storm is the only company. They're moving decently. I mean, look at Gamer. They have been at, this company has done this division for a year, and we already have all the variants of Ken in 1 year. That's crazy. All the player 2s in 1 year is crazy. Benny Maru from King of Fighters is supposed to be out by now. That's what I'm saying. Storm could focus purely on King of Fighter and Baki and be golden. Battle-scarred Baki would be ridiculously popular. I know. Is it just Street Fighter, or where is the money is? I mean, look at all their figures. All of them have sold out. They had to reissue almost every figure. And they had to reissue Dan and Charlie, and they hadn't even released yet. Jada is trying to release everything, and they're releasing nothing. And Storm Arena is only releasing Street Fighter figures, neglecting the other lines. In all fairness, they are making so much money with their Street Fighter line. I mean, how as a business would you ignore that? So, this is Capcom Cup of 2025. I want to get into this because we have kind of got off topic, but Capcom Cup, this is what we saw last year. And a few other things that had already been released. This was the new stuff we saw. And I think Akuma, who's missing from this? I think Akuma and Balrog were later on announced. But the thing that you can expect from Capcom Cup, you're going to probably see some new characters. Maybe they announce M. Bison. They're for sure. I mean, is anybody going to be shocked if they announce M. Bison in Storm Arena? I'm almost booking it. I almost would be shocked if they didn't. So, you're going to see characters that we've seen before already in grayscale probably come to fruition with paint and articulation. So, who are we waiting on that's currently in grayscale? Well, there's these guys from King of Fighter. Terrible picture, but those 3 guys, I'm sure people that know who King of Fighter is, you know who those guys are. There's them, and then there is this guy, Balrog. You should see Balrog fully painted, fully articulated. You're going to see Balrog. You're going to see Zangief fully articulated, probably better sculpted. You're going to see Cammy. You're going to see Armika. I don't know why that picture was so big. This guy's already articulated. You're just going to see him painted. Probably look a lot better, too. And then, do we get announced any new characters? I don't know. Because I feel like they usually do the roadmap when they do that, right? I'm going to see her. Dude, why are these figures so effing big? God damn. Or why are these pictures so big? Balrog with the Mike Tyson neck. I kind of like the thick neck. I like them thick and veiny in the neck, right? Wait, what did Stone say? Lori? Demonical Fit showed their Chrono Trigger figures. I'm about to throw all my money on those because we never get Chrono Trigger anything. And that's fair. Storm Arena Balrog is going to be nuts. Absolutely need that Balrog when it releases. Yeah, that's what she said. Backs. So we're going to see our Mika probably fully colored and good to go in all her glory. And then, I don't know. Do you think they announced new characters? I feel like they haven't shown anything that we didn't know somebody was coming. So I don't think we see any new characters. I think we just see... I don't know. Is there a new property announced? Because why haven't we seen anything else? Could there be Ultra Street Fighter 2? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But, yeah. Capcom Cup is a big deal. For those that don't know, it is a big deal. Blue or light blue? They probably will show another Ultra Street Fighter 2 and some more Street Fighter 6 figs. Yeah, I assume who's going to be there. I'm sure that M. Bison for... I'm sure M. Bison for Storm Collectibles will be there. I'm sure Ippo will be there. I like Storm for their over-the-top proportions. They do them justice every time without sacrificing articulation. Yeah. Maybe Dalsim for the collectible Street Fighter 2 line. That'd be cool. Him or Vega would be really cool. I know you say it's most likely Street Fighter 2, actually something you'd want. Hell yeah. I get that people wouldn't want Ultra Street Fighter 2 because they're like, well, Jada already did it. I mean, you're telling me that I could get Street Fighter 2, because I love the Street Fighter 2 collectibles line. I would love for them to be scaled down. Hell yeah. I know that it's a little repetitive, but it's not like it hasn't been done before. Look how many people are making Street Fighter 6. So Jada's the only one that ever gets to make Ultra Street Fighter 4. No one can ever touch it again because they did it. No. I would think it'd be fine if Storm... Plus, Storm already has sculpts from their bigger line. They can just scale them down. The Ken and Ryu in Ultra Street Fighter 2 could use a redo. I mean, granted, those figures were made in like 2018, which is coming up almost 10 years ago. So, yes, they could. But I also don't want to harp on them too bad because that was probably pretty good for the time that they came out. I hope it's blue stone. The collectibles one was light blue. And I have a video coming out later today, folks. Later today on the... We've talked a lot about the variants coming out. I'm just going to give you a little sneak preview of some of the things that are coming out in this video later. Do we do a couple of them? Now, granted, these are all Photoshop. All of them are Photoshop. But this is just a little sneak preview. We've got 2 Ryus left. We got some Sagats coming. But that's all you get to see. Just little sneak previews of what's coming up. You saw them coming. That's all Photoshop. Those aren't official, but those are the colors that are left. So, I got a cool one coming out later so you guys can see everything that's left in the exclusive Player 2s. Capcom Cup to kind of go over that, as well. Not Jada. I don't know why it's bringing that up. Capcom Cup. And then where's this guy? Are those the Final Fight guys that you guys are talking about? The guy with the mustache? I know nothing of Final Fight. So you got to fill me in on that. I hope they make Street Fighter Third Strike action figure Jada or Storm. Well, I don't think Jada's going to make it because I'm pretty sure June said he didn't like Third Strike, so. People are going to demand that Black E Ryu. I mean, he's coming. You know he is. Yeah, Capcom Cup, you should start to see all the information for Storm. It's not going to be, I know the Capcom Cup is actually on the weekend, but I'm telling you right now, you won't see any of this stuff. You'll probably see it as early as Wednesday night, preview night. So, I'm just telling you, that's kind of the expectation of Capcom Cup. And things you'll see are a lot of you'll probably see Darkstalkers again. You'll probably see, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some of the new Baki figures. I'm not mad that Jada is making Street Fighter 2. I'm mad that Storm would be making the same characters a second time that look identical instead of closing in on a roster. They're not going to close in on a roster. Alpha 3 is unattainable. Unobtainable. It's not going to happen. Because Jada said they were going to finish a roster, now everybody's expectation is, oh, they got to finish the roster. They got to finish the roster. I've already talked about this 1,000 times. The goal of companies is not to complete a roster because not all the characters sell real well. It's cool for collectors, but when you look at it from a business standpoint, finishing rosters is not financially a great idea. It's just not. Well, how far do you go? I mean, I don't know how far you even go into the roster before you say, okay, that's enough. I mean, we're getting to that point, not quite yet, but it's like when they get to like the 15th and 20th figure, it's like they might start wrapping it up. I think the unreal expectation of finishing rosters was a gift and a curse by Jada Toys because now everybody's like, oh, everybody's really into finishing rosters. No. Jada Toys decided to do it with a 17-man roster, and it's almost taken them 5 years. Imagine if you had to add 11 figures to that. They're not going to do it. Nobody's finishing Street Fighter Alpha 3. I mean, Storm is on great pace to do it, but it's just not a thing. And it doesn't even make sense financially to do it. Only Jada Toys will finish one roster that we know of. And I think Storm could easily finish if in the arena line if they did Ultra Street Fighter 2. Especially at the pace that they're going at. Because if you look at their roadmap that they've announced so far, look how many characters. Granted, they have only been... Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Gotta go really slow. If you look at the progress Storm has done in just... Again... We got our very first Storm Arena figure this time last year. I know that seems crazy, but that's the facts. Like, Storm hasn't even been doing 1/12 that long. A year and a half is pretty much where Storm's at right now. Hold on. I'm trying to find that freaking picture. Hold on. It's so obnoxious. I can't find it. Jada killed the momentum. The last few figures are going to take forever. That's what I'm saying. They were initially on crazy pace to finish up the roster fairly quickly. But now, they're not moving any faster than Storm, and Storm's actually moving a lot faster now than Jada. I mean, we haven't even seen E Honda yet, and it's March, and we haven't even seen Balrog yet, and it's March. I'm trying to find the. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so look at all the characters that they've announced. We literally got this line announced. Not even a. Look at how far they are already. Look how many characters. 12 characters already announced in a year and a half. And 2 of these are coming. How many are these? So we got Dan. Who's all coming this year? By the end of 2026, we should have 7 characters out. That's crazy. Potentially, we could have 8, because I still think they get Zangief out. I still think they announce 12. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 12. That's pretty good. I'm sorry. How many figures did Jada do last year? 3? That would be Blanca, Sagat, and Vega. It's 11. Oh, it is 11. Sorry. I thought they had the same amount on the bottom as they did the top. That's my bad. It is 11. But still, 11's pretty good. I agree with you. Companies fully fulfilling full rosters isn't beneficial. It isn't. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Because not every character is going to sell. You usually get the very, very popular characters out, and that's it. So... And I don't even know how far you go. Because now Jada's given that expectation. It's like, oh, Storm better complete a roster. Why? They clearly didn't kill Jada's alpha line because Jada didn't pivot away from it. If they killed it, then that would mean that Jada... If they killed it, then Jada would have canceled the line. They clearly didn't kill it, but maybe... killed the momentum. Stream? Yeah, I stream every Sunday, Alpha. I don't know. I stream every Sunday. You're just always shocked because you come in at the last tail end of the 10 minutes of it. Storm put a damper on their plan? Well, yeah, they did, but I don't know if it killed it. Let me see. Not completing a roster is one thing, but just giving up on a line or losing the license is a bad look, in my opinion. I mean, you're not looking at... You're going in that without any knowledge of the situation. Maybe the contract wasn't a long contract. Maybe it was for a few figures. Maybe... I don't know that anybody... I don't think they ever give up on a roster. I mean, if you got to look at sales, too. They lost the license to Mortal Kombat, so they couldn't continue. And you got to look at the sales portion of it, because if a lot of figures aren't financially doing well from that particular property, you're not going to just sit there and be like, well... guys, we gotta keep going. They're gonna expect them. It's like, no, if they're not selling well either, then there's just more than just not completing it or losing a license. There's a lot to that. Other than they just gave up. What's the MSRP on M. Bison with the horse? Probably like 160, if I had to guess. Jada ain't saying nothing, Richie. Something's going on internally for sure. No, they never say anything. They never say anything. And I actually got people mad at me when I'm like, oh, you're just impatient. It's like, no. I was like, it's pretty much San Diego Comic-Con or WonderCon, and we don't hear from them. And even when we do, it's not super accurate information anyways. You gotta just be patient with Jada. That's what their fans always say. And I'm part of their fans, but I'm not part of the stan group of them where they're like, oh, just be patient. I am losing patience with a lot of companies when I see how fast things can actually be done to a certain extent. Dude, I don't even look at McFarlane handling Mortal Kombat. They don't know how to handle a license. Todd only repaints the ninjas. We already knew that was going to be a thing. I mean, come on. Did anybody think that Todd McFarlane was going to do the Mortal Kombat line justice? He's already had the property and did it terribly. I if you thought Todd was going to do a great job with Mortal Kombat or thought things had changed, then you'd be wrong. Todd is a cheap man. Clearly, he hasn't even moved away from pinned figures yet. We're here in 2026 and Todd McFarlane is yet to make a pinless figure. That's insane. Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I think. And I mean, look at all those characters for Alpha. That's pretty good. I mean, even if they announce 5 more and ended, that's a pretty good roster for a license. Storm Collectibles made 2 Gotcha Man characters, 2 Darkstalkers, 2 Streets of Rage characters, and dropped the licenses. I mean, listen to those properties. Gotcha Man, Darkstalkers, Streets of Rage, not super popular in an action figure form. If it was popular, they'd make it. Look it. And I know what you're going to say. Darkstalkers is popular. What are you talking about? We love Darkstalkers. Let's go. Oh, look, she's on sale. But that figure was trash, Richie. Well, they didn't think it was trash. And they just lost a ton of money making this character because no one wants to buy it. I'm just saying, you can't just make things if you're losing money. You guys look at things too much from a collector standpoint and not so much from the business standpoint. Because the collector standpoint is just, hey, just try again. They can't afford to try again. They're not big enough to try again. You can't do it that way. You have to look at it from both. Why would they make more Darkstalkers when she's sitting on sale? This figure came out last year. And granted, not well received. I get that. But it's like, they're not going to try again. It's trial and error, folks. It costs a lot more money to make the action figures than I think people realize. And if it doesn't hit and you take, they probably took a loss on this figure. I'm not going to lie. They probably lost a lot of money in this figure. So why would they want to make more Darkstalkers? Just doesn't make a lot of sense. You gotta get stuff that's gonna fly off the shelves. They don't just make it for the fans' sake. They're not for the fans. They're for the money. If any of you guys ever think for a second that any of these companies are for the fans, then I don't know. Maybe you got to do a little soul searching, because there's none of these companies outside of, some people could argue maybe, what's that one line? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but Streets of Rage would be popular line if they made one. I mean, we think that, but at the end of the day, a lot of people think Tekken would be popular if they made it. They made Tekken, it hasn't done very well. Lilith and Morgan will most likely be the only Storm Arena figures from Darkstalkers. That could be a thing. At 1/12 scale, that helps a lot. Yeah. I feel Capcom included Darkstalkers clause cut in all the IP deals. Dimitri, They got to pick cool characters from Darkstalkers. I mean, is Lilith not popular? Is Morrigan not popular? Fighting games always do well for action figures as long as the price is right. Storm Collectibles has always been too expensive. I mean, I know plenty of cheap Tekken figures that aren't selling. I mean, here you go. Here's some cheap Tekken figures for the right price. But they also can't suck. Well, here's some cheap. Here's one for $22.90. Tekken right here. Your boy. Here's some cheap Tekken figures. And they're not selling either. Tamashii Nations. Game Dimensions has made plenty of Tekken figures that haven't sold. Here you go. They made this guy. He actually sold out or just has been forever. Game Dimensions. Here you go. King figure. These are beautiful. They look just like Storm Arena. Look at those pants. Those look like Storm Arena pants. No. You didn't say the worst. You said just affordable. You can't change the rules on me. You said just affordable. Black screen? What do you mean? King sold out because he's popular and those figures suck. He didn't sell out. He went on deep discount for like $10 and then sold out. He did not sell out because he was popular. He sold out because he went on the deepest of discount for like $10 on Prime Day, and then he sold out. I think they have like an internal skeleton. Keaton, what's up, man? I don't think Tekken would sell as well as you guys think they would. I think everybody always thinks these properties are going to sell well. There's a difference between being a fan of the game and then wanting an action figure of the game. I do think Tekken is popular. I do think that. I just don't know that people always want an action figure of every popular thing. But we'll see. Oh, okay, Keaton. I was like, what? I don't think selling out is the barometer of success. Mafex reissued a lot of figures that took a long time to sell out. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what the barometer of success is. I know going on sale is not a good sign for a barometer of success. When are we getting an action figure line of Mars, Richie, and Goji Boy? Wait, what? Build a figure. I don't know. I don't want an action figure. Not of me. Mars would love an action figure of himself. Not me. Those Tamashii Nation Tekken figures were at Ross for $10 each. Yikes. Can't wait till Balrog drops from Jada. Yeah. Wait, which one? The Mars or the Mars? The Storm one or... Yeah, I would just be hands. Yeah, I'm going to plan on doing face cam come around San Diego Comic-Con. Many of the FX Batman went on sale, yet still reissued them 3 times. I don't know how many figures are produced for each character. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I mean, you could tell that the Storm Arena line's doing pretty well. I would say any of the figures that go on sale. And it's just different, too. You got to kind of watch the market for things, too. Because it's like, once those things did sell out for Mafex, they did go up in price in the aftermarket. So they were like, oh. I mean, these companies pay attention to the aftermarkets. I know a lot of people are like, oh, they don't even see how much this thing costs on the after. They do. They pay attention. They've got guys that are watching the aftermarket. So when they do reissues, I mean, those figures did eventually go up in price once they sold out, even though they went on sale. I mean, I could tell you a ton of things that went on deep clearance that ended up selling for a ton later on in the aftermarket. Storm Arena Tekken would sell better than Jada Tekken. I generally prefer Jada, but Storm's style fits better. Jada Toys has peg holes for stands, Storm doesn't, and weird joints. Yeah, I mean, they're all... Every action figure is different stylistically. I don't think Storm needs stands. Their feet are so big. They don't really need stands. Jada's Balrog will be released from BBTS next month. Oh, in April? That's great. All these gamer action figure lines are awful, like Dimensions and Sony. They're just so cheap and bare minimum quality. I mean, they probably don't want to... Again, costs a lot to make the figures, so they can't put a ton of money in them if they don't know how well they're going to do. Do Scooby-Doo figures sell as well as Street Fighter figures? Why does Jada give them more priority? I don't know. To me, Jada's just grabbed way too many properties at this point. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know the operations of Jada or Storm. Because it's like, did you hire a bunch of new people with all the new licenses you brought on over at Jada? I don't know. Scooby-Doo is more mainstream. Yeah, but again, it's like, that's a cool cartoon, but how many people want an action figure version of the Scooby-Doo characters? I don't know. It's like, I'm sure there's a lot of Pee Wee Herman fans. How many people want a Pee Wee Herman action figure? I don't know. There's a difference between having a fan base and then a fan base that wants an action figure representation of that. It's like, I love Cheetos, but I don't need a Chester Cheeto. I love Cheetos. They're one of my favorite chips. I don't need a Chester Cheeto action figure. So, there's different types of fandom for things. I don't know how well Scooby-Doo. To me, Scooby-Doo would be more for kids. Maybe wants to play with their Pee-wee. Maybe. Pee-wee Herman is a bad example because NECA makes him. I don't care who makes him. It was just an example. Flintstones with the cereal boxes were pretty funny. I mean, it's funny, but do I want Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble in action figure form? I don't know. It's like, where do I stop? How many... I mean, I would love, and I'm shocked that nobody has made Cartoon Networks. Someone needs to get the license for Cartoon Networks. Because I do think people would buy Powerpuff Girl action figures. I think that would sell probably just as well as a Scooby-Doo line. I think a lot of people would buy Dexter's Laboratory. I think a lot of people would buy Johnny Bravo figures. Like, you needed that Tony the Tiger. I mean, that's fair. It's a cool figure. I don't need the mascots. I don't need a Frosty the Snowman figure. Samurai Jack, I mean, Mars literally just bought a Samurai Jack from somebody. I think it was Mafex. Every NECA fig you touch snaps. So does McFarlane's. People are asking for Ben 10 line more than Scooby-Doo line. Yeah. Mezco is doing Cartoon Network. Yeah, but are they? Are they doing like the Powerpuff Girls and all those guys that I mentioned? Or are they just doing a few of the shows? Because I would love to get Powerpuff Girls with like the monkey. I don't know his name. I would love to get Johnny Bravo. I would love... Oh, it was Mezco. That's who it was. And then I would love to get Dexter's Laboratory. I would love to get like some of those guys, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mezco released Samurai Jack, but it's over 100 quid. Yeah, Mars just put a video out on that. You guys should watch it. Nobody's talking about the alternate costume Chun-Li colors will be exclusive or its own release. Very curious about that. I don't know what they're going to do with Chun-Li's Player 2s because you're correct. It's a complete costume change for some of them. So I don't know if we see as many P2s for Chun-Li as we do as like Charlie and Dan and Akuma and stuff like that. Hong Kong Fui for a sure purchase. Yeah. Just sold my SH Figure Arts Full Power Frieza for 120 with people DBZ figures. I like crazy. Facts. Whew, it's going to be a busy week, folks. It is going to be a busy week. It is the week of Capcom Cup, so there's going to be a lot of Storm news. I'd love to think that Jada will have some news, but you never know with them. I think WonderCon Black is where we first see Jada. I do think we see Jada. Jada has a booth at WonderCon or Wonderfest. I forget what it's called, but they do go to one con before SDCC, but they do save I would say they're big reveals for San Diego Comic-Con for sure. Thank you, Stoned. Super Punch-Out figures would be dope. All right, but I think that's where we're going to end. We got a busy week coming up. We've got Capcom Cup. I'm sure there's going to be a lot. There could very well be a exclusive announced for Storm. I hope Jada announces something, but I can never count on it. I have a video coming out on the remaining variants for Storm Arena later. Make sure you give that a watch and a like. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please do that. And we will have plenty to talk about in the live stream. It's kind of a bare bones video this week. I'm running low on news, but next week we'll have plenty to talk about. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please do so. Keep an eye out for a video later today on the remaining exclusives from Storm, and I have pretty cool Photoshop set up for that, so you guys can enjoy that. And we have a busy week, so just buckle up. Notifications on, subscribe up if you haven't. I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs. Later.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Move on!